Crito is the shortest of Plato's dialogues, and in many ways it's the most intimate. It is a conversation just between two people, old friends, Socrates and Crito, in the prison cell as Socrates awaits execution. His interlocutor, Crito, is an old friend of Socrates, both chronologically old and a friend of his for a long time. It's important to realize that Crito is roughly a peer of Socrates. They're about the same age, and Socrates is 70. Crito is also quite wealthy. We know this, it was mentioned in the Apology that Crito was present at Socrates' trial, and he was one of the people who offered to put up a fairly significant sum of money as a fine in order to save Socrates from execution. This dialogue centers around Crito's escape plan. Crito comes to visit Socrates in prison, and he says, "Socrates, I've arranged for you to escape from prison. I've bribed the guards, I've got horses waiting, I've made arrangements for you to travel to another city and live out the remainder of your life. There's no risk involved to me or to anybody else in the plan, but it's important that we activate this plan tonight and that you act immediately to escape from prison because your execution is scheduled for tomorrow." Socrates, as we would expect, says, "Let's wait a minute, let's talk about this and think this out and figure out if following this escape plan is the right thing to do or whether we would be doing something unjust and wrong by escaping from prison under these circumstances." They talk about it for the duration of the dialogue, and in the end, Socrates refuses to escape, explaining his reasons to Crito. He's going to go forward and be executed a few days later by the Athenians. Some major themes in this dialogue include how to make important life decisions. Socrates insists on being governed by reason even when his life is at stake, or he might say, especially when my life is at stake, I must make certain that my decisions are guided by reason and not by emotion or peer pressure or a fear of public opinion. There's also the theme of how to live the good life. This comes up in the middle of this dialogue. Socrates doesn't simply want to go on living for as long as he can, but he wants to live well. He wants to live a good life, and what a good life means is going to be important for his decision about whether he can escape from prison or not. It's important to Socrates that we not just live, but that we live according to a certain standard of excellence. So that's a major theme of this dialogue. And the third major theme is the relationship between the individual and the government, especially in the last half of the dialogue, where Socrates talks about his reasons for not being able to escape from prison without committing some kind of injustice against the laws of Athens. So here are some reading questions for you to think about as you read through this short dialogue. First, Socrates and Crito disagree about whether they should respect public opinion. What reasons does each man give, and who do you think has the better side of this argument? Second, a crucial step in the dialogue comes when Crito and Socrates agree that the most important thing is not life, but the good life. What do you think this means? What is the good life like? How is it different from simply living? Third, for Socrates, the decision about escaping comes down to whether escaping is right or wrong in itself, regardless of the consequences for him personally. Is this a good way to make decisions? Is it how you make decisions? If you disagree with it, what do you think are some of its weaknesses or drawbacks? Fourth, in the last few pages of the dialogue, Socrates imagines what the laws of Athens would say to him if they were a person. Does he give a good argument on behalf of the laws? Does his view perhaps give too much power to the government, especially to an unjust government like the one reigning in Athens at the time? And lastly, how are the laws different from public opinion? Why should we respect the laws more than we respect public opinion, especially in a democracy where the laws are formed by the vote of the people? In fact, it may seem rather odd that Socrates, who begins by saying we should pay no attention to public opinion, ends the dialogue by saying, my respect for the laws is so great that I can't escape even an unjust verdict, and I must go willingly to execution, even though I've been perhaps wrongly convicted. So what's the difference between the laws and public opinion, and what is it about the laws that requires Socrates and us, he thinks, to give them such deference and such respect? So that's my quick overview of the themes in Plato's Crito dialogue, along with some reading questions for you. I look forward to talking with you about it soon. Thanks for watching today. Goodbye.